And I knew that the guy I was competing against, that his coach was watching me. And I mean, I wasn't doing it for him, but I was just aware that he was watching me warm up.
The psych out.
And I came out and his coach is like, he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot. And I pulled guard on that guy and armbarred him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Pre-comp warm-up. How do you get your body ready to roll at a competition in a short amount of time? Now, this question has come up through our community. One of our people has said, I got a comp coming up, and last time I went into the comp, I wasn't warm. I got absolutely bashed first round, and it sucked. And I just didn't know what the right thing to do was to get ready for a competition level roll. It's not just a normal roll. It's not just showing up training. It's like, I got 10, 15 minutes. How do I do this?
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a good topic for us to talk on because I think there's a few boxes that you need to tick when you've only got a limited amount of time.
The first tricky part warming up at a comp is that the schedule's generally not running smooth.
Never.
And so you might have an idea of when your division starts, and then you get to the bullpen and it's like, am I on yet? And they're like, no, come back. And you're like, so you eventually get there, and then they're like, yeah, you'll be up soon. And you're like, okay, great, I'll start warming up. Sometimes soon might be an hour and a half from now.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think you got to be a little bit flexible on a comp day and know that sometimes you're just not going to get a proper warm up.
Yes.
But let's say you're like, okay, I think I'm on in like 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
What's the process going to be? And I guess you do hopefully get that thing where they're like, oh, like you can step into the matted area now. You'll be on after these guys. Like that's letting it know that you're, you're here, bro. You're number 2.
Thank you, sir.
No, you can adjust it for yourself, whatever you want.
No, I appreciate it.
I love JT f***ing with the knobs.
You're number 2. Yeah. Yes, number 1. Thank you.
But yeah, so, okay, let's talk about it.
Okay, so I'm a bit more of a hype beast, so I need to be a little bit more slap in the face type deal. But there's 3 parts to the warm-up that I think you need to address. One is you need to do a check. You need to do a joint check. You've got to be like, how's my knees? How's my ankles? How's my hips? Because maybe for whatever reason on that day, you're like, oh, left knee's acting up. What's going on there? So you need to actually pay attention to that. So you need to be able to run a check on the body. First stage is mobility, like just getting your body moving so that you know, okay, wrists, elbows, shoulders, neck, everything's good. You don't want to... the way I was analogizing this to a friend of mine who was asking about comp prep was it's like a Formula One car. You know, they've got a team of 15 people who come down, they check the tire pressure, they check everything. They just good to go, bang, bang, and out the gate you go. You need to be able to do that very fast. So whether it's joint articulations, wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, neck, you need to just one set of everything. Doing all the major joints, wrists, elbows, shoulders, neck, hips, knees, ankles. So you're like, all right, everything's working. Next step is we need to get warm. Now, you will always see people doing a million versions of a jumping jack.
Yeah, people love jumping jack.
Just because this was, let me just give you a very quick summation of jumping jack history. It comes back in like 1926 or something. A lot of soldiers were destroying their Achilles trying to run in packs. You know, they got a 50-kilo pack on their back in boots in cold conditions. They just go, all right, just go, run. And they would tear their Achilles. They're like, shit, this is no good. We need something to get the blood going. And that's where the jumping jack came in.
Okay.
Now, okay, for lack of a better option, sure. But you have better options, my friends. So what would I encourage you to do? We want to be doing movements that are going to engage your body in a coordinated way. So for example, doing a lunge with a twist is a really good way to get your ankles, knees, hips, back all working together. This is one of the movements we use as our warm-ups in Bulletproof for BJJ program because it gets your shoulders engaged, your hips engaged in a coordinated way that will elevate your body temperature but also prepare your body for action. So that's just one movement. Now we're not going to necessarily spell out the whole workout here. We will do a separate video at a later date. But what I wanted to say is this: you want to practice a coordination you're going to use on the mat. So another thing you might see is people pummeling. They might have a training partner or they're there with their coach. So it's specific to you're going to wrestle. You're going to grapple.
Yeah.
And
good to get that body contact too.
Yeah, a little bit of that. It wakes you up, whether you're feeling the gi or it's no gi, whatever it might be. It is specific to what you're doing. Your body temperature is going to come up, but the muscles you want engaged are going to work. I think this is an important piece of this. The next step is if your goal is to play guard or your strategy is to play guard, you need to do a little bit of something off your back. But typically most tournaments don't have a warm-up mat. Unless it's like a big comp, like an IBJJF or a big serious comp like an ADCC, where they'll have a warm-up area, you're just doing it on wooden floor. You're in a basketball stadium, but that's the game, right? That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So you've got to get down on the floor and do a little bit of leg pummeling and do a bit of like inversion work. If you don't have a coach with you don't have a training partner with you, doing a little bit of work to invert and prepare your neck and spine for those movements under no resistance is actually good.
Yeah.
I'm not endorsing solo drills, just saying. But we just want to prepare your body for what's coming next. No, don't do it. Shut the f up, child.
It's called a warm-up, Ben. I call it solo drills.
No, it's not
a warm-up.
what it is. That's
it's called warm-up.
And then, so first step, mobility. Second step, specific movements to elevate the body temperature. Third step, engage the nervous system. So you want to do something that is not only going to elevate your heart rate, but is also going to excite your nervous system. You need to be awake and ready to go. So whether that be a hop, a jump, either like actually shooting, like a wrestling shot, something which is actually dynamic in nature to get your nervous system fired up, you need that. And if you're not sweating a little bit before you get on the mat, I think you're not ready.
Do you find you get thirsty at training? I do. I do all the time. I'm a sweaty human and I need to hydrate. Now, the biggest problem is by the time you're thirsty, it's a little bit late. You need to hydrate. And that's why we got Sodi. Sodi is sponsoring the show. We've got all the colors of the rainbow. Great flavors here. We've got salty citrus, salty pineapple, salty berry, and my favorite, salty grapefruit. And they will be releasing 2 new mystery flavors soon. So why do we need this? It's going to prevent our muscle cramps. It's going to help our energy delivery. And it's also going to mean you're less tired, which is an advantage when you're training. If you want to maximize your jiu-jitsu and feel good when you're rolling, you need to get Sodi. And when you purchase, enter the code Bulletproof20 at checkout for 20% off. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do want to try and have that, just that light sweat broken.
Yeah.
I always feel I like to I'm with all of that. I like to, because it's all very adrenaline driven, right?
Yes.
You're getting very nervous. You approach the bullpen, they're like, oh yeah, you might be up soon, start, and then you're like, oh shit, and then so for me there, I always feel the need to move instantly.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of hopping.
Yes.
A lot of shaking.
Shaking.
And it's really interesting. Like if you're feeling that kind of rush of nerves, which is just your body getting excited, right?
Yep.
Shaking and moving is a really effective way to just settle that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be shaking around. I like big arm swings, big hip swings, like dynamic stuff. So I'm almost thinking at that point, like I probably couldn't run a diagnostic on myself because I got all the adrenaline. So I'm like, everything feels great. You know what I mean? Like, sure. Oh, my bad knees are feeling awesome today kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Cossacks, squatting, just getting blood moving around.
Yes.
And then I like the specific stuff. I was always really bad with that. And I think it's just because, I don't know why. I never warmed up with a partner. Right. So I never did any like warm up gripping or grip breaking and countering and all that kind of stuff. And looking back, I think that would have been really helpful.
Potentially.
Here's a trick I did do once.
Oh.
At a comp in Melbourne.
Do tell.
I was warming up with I was shooting.
Okay.
Like shooting like a bunch because I was just like, I need something explosive, right, to get the nervous system excited.
Yeah.
So I was going to shoot a bunch. And I knew that the guy I was competing against, that his coach was watching me. And I wasn't doing it for him, but I was just aware that he was watching me warm up.
The psych out.
And I came out and his coach is like, he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot. And I pulled guard on that guy and armbarred him. It was great. The guy was like all ready for the shot, and I was like, oh, boop, straight into like close guard height. Yeah, it was awesome. But
Psych.
But yeah, like so yeah, you know, like I think like movement is a really good way to get those nerves out, and getting the blood pumping, and that getting the blood pumping is warming you up and helping you break that sweat.
Yes.
I think it's a must. Because if you don't, otherwise you walk out and you're like stiff and cold. And
the first couple minutes is your warm up.
Yeah.
But then maybe it's too late because you're down on points or you're submitted by then, you know?
Yeah.
Now there is a small like caveat on this, or maybe it's a huge caveat. Depending on how you are as a human, because some of you might need a lot of warming up. Some of you might need slapping in the face. But for some of you, you're calm.
You seen that at a comp, like slapping in the face?
Yeah, slapping on the back. Like it's just, pain evokes adrenaline.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Like whether you're hitting yourself in the chest. Now this is something else you should know as a little trick. When you see people like gorillas beating themselves on the chest, and this is also something I learned that you should not do to attacking opponent, is shove them in the chest. Because when you actually directly strike on the heart, there is some receptors in the heart that spark adrenaline. So it's like actually a first aid thing if you don't have like an EpiPen or whatever to do the thump, which is just fist.
Oh, wow. On the chest.
Whack on the heart, because that will actually create a release of adrenaline.
Wow.
So when you
could be like turbocharging your opponent.
Yeah, you don't want to get them more G'd up. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But you know, when you see Rob Whittaker just beating on the heart, like he's pumping himself up, you know.
Yeah.
There are people out there who this will not work for in terms of getting too much adrenaline.
When I walk out, I like to do this one.
Oh, of course you do.
That's sick. Step onto the white belt division. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want the best gear for BJJ, you need to go to pariathletics.com. These are our guys. They support the show. George, great guy, great creator, awesome colors, awesome styles, and also the best fit. It feels great. And that's the thing. It's not just that it looks good, it feels good. And the thing that for me, I love the most is I can wear the stuff at jiu-jitsu, but then also they've got that other side, the cool side where you can wear it off the mats. And they are our exclusive partner in apparel. If you want to get bulletproof gear, you've got to go to pariathletics.com. And when you buy anything at checkout, enter bulletproof20 for 20% off. Oh, yeah.
But that said, this isn't so much psyching out your opponent as Joey has done. This is more about you understanding yourself, because you might only need a bit of a warm up and you're good. Like, my body's warm, I feel fine, because you want to make sure you're saving the majority of your energy for that role. Because the first role is always super intense. You know, like it doesn't matter who I talk to and at what level, you got to get that first roll done, right? Because your forearms get super pumped.
First match is the hardest.
First match is super tough, because once you're able to win that, you're like, okay, all right, I'm psychologically and physiologically I'm in a good mode. I can keep going now.
Yeah.
But obviously, you don't win that first match, your day's probably over unless you're doing a round robin. But what I want to say is this. The psychological side of this is, they talked about optimum arousal. I'm not talking about getting your heart on right here. I'm talking about you having peak arousal, the right amount of excitement that you can pay attention and do what you need to do, as opposed to just being like, just mad dog, and then you can't even focus. Like me on a podcast, having had 5 coffees. You know, you need to be able to have enough that you're good, you can operate, but you're also not too low. Because the thing
We're not too low, but not too high.
So high.
Yeah.
And everybody's different, right? So for you, Joey, it sounds like, because from what you mentioned before,
I'm a calm guy.
Yeah, you just show up and you're like, I'm good here.
Yeah.
And then you just get on and you do the thing.
Yeah, I just want to be not too nervous. I want to feel a bit warm.
Yep.
And I want to feel like, like kind of body's limber. I'm good, and that's it.
I want to go into a psychotic rage. That's my zone. That's my place of calm. When I see black and white and I can't hear anything and everything moves in slow-mo. I love it. That's my peak arousal. It's borderline explosion.
So what are you doing to get, like, so after you've done, say, all that warm-up piece, what are you doing then?
For me, it's music is really important. So this is something they taught us with sports psychology with Taekwondo. You want to play the same music every time.
Right.
Like you have a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like montage. No, you have the track that you use for this phase of your warm up, this phase, that phase.
Wow.
And then you need to be listening to the same music every time before you step out.
Right.
And then, earphones are off and you're zoned.
Yeah.
And you are literally brainwashing yourself to have this elevated state. Because here's the hardest thing about jiu-jitsu competitions, and this is something people don't talk about. You got to do it over and over and over again. So even though, say, compared to a marathon, jiu-jitsu rounds are short, but if you've got to do that 5 or 6 times across multiple hours, it's huge. Like managing your energy is hard because you G yourself up, you have this big energy output, and then you got to calm back down. And you got to do it again.
Yeah.
And again, and again. And that's hard to maintain.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a place for, like, once you've done that and you've gotten through, let's say, a couple of matches, you don't necessarily want to keep doing that because sometimes then it's like, hey, you got like the time between matches is getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah, you never.
And so then it's like, just sit down on the side and try and catch some breath. Yeah, drink some water.
To warm up.
Maybe when you hop up, it's like, do a few squats, jump around just for a moment. Yeah, just to like get the blood moving and then step on.
The difficulty, this is the juggle. If you do too little, you can cool down. And then you start to get stiff or you start to feel the injuries a bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm not feeling good. Or you eat. You got to wait for ages, right? Like maybe there's
eating's a bad one.
You're like, oh, what do I eat? You're like, oh, maybe I'll have a little bite of this muesli bar.
One little meat pie.
Yeah, God, that guy's got a bag of snakes. It's all gone. Where did the bag of snakes go? Oh, the other guy took them. Here's the hardest thing. We're not going to go into the nutrition side of things, but
you're so naughty.
I am
stealing other people's snakes.
Wait, hey man, you offered. You didn't say there was a limit. It's a whole bag of snakes. I'm a grown ass man. Small, obese child in a grown-ass man's body. But here's the thing. You need to be able to have a repeatable sequence. And so the music piece was part of that. Even if you're fatigued, you play the music and that,
triggers you.
You're the sleeper agent. You're like, okay, kill time. Because that's the thing for me. I was trying to explain to a friend of ours who is competing in the ADCC trials my process, because they were saying they often feel like they're not psyched up enough or they're not engaged enough. And I said, I kind of have a low level of contempt. I'm kind of get myself to a point where I'm like, why do you think you can beat me? I'm here to beat you. If you think you can beat me, you're an idiot. Like there's a level of contempt in there, which makes me feel not aggressive, but it makes me feel like I don't like this person. Like there's a bit of a vibe like, I got to show you this is not a good idea. I'm going to beat you. Like, whereas for a lot of people, that's not part of their psychology. They're not even thinking that. They're just trying to do their thing.
Tell me on that. What would where would your mind go? Let's say you come out with that and then dude takes you down, past your guard, side control, and you're getting dominated.
Yeah.
Do you still maintain that frame of mind?
Yeah, pretty similar.
Or does it adjust?
No. They're definitely no. Obviously, you having a strong psychology is a part of your warm-up. Like mentally preparing yourself for a thing is important. You also have to be prepared for when things don't work.
Yeah.
Right. And that's got nothing to do with physical warm-up. That's being able to maintain your composure. My default mode in my mind is always like, okay, I'm in a bad spot, but as soon as I get out of this, you're f***ed.
Right.
Like I'm always thinking, like, I can get out of this, I can do this. And that's probably why I've been choked out so many times.
Yeah, right.
I can definitely get out of this.
You got to, one way or another, I'm getting out.
I'm getting out of consciousness. but and I have had a couple of times where maybe I'd exerted too much energy in earlier matches, hadn't paced myself, get to finals and
cooked
and get smashed.
I mean, but that's a hard one, isn't it? Because you almost like. Hindsight's a beauty.
If you don't exert enough
energy,
you
might
you're
have
not
lost.
making the finals.
That's right.
What are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
So, but there is an efficiency that you have to find for yourself with warm-ups.
It's a bit like when we're at the cafe pre-podcast and JT's just like test running the whole podcast on me. And I'm like, are you going to be okay for the finals, bro? Because I know I'll be showing up.
Joey's got me in a mental body triangle. I'm like, I can still get out. Do you need the best inside information on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I have the answer for you. It is Tap, Nap, and Snap, the Jiu-Jitsu newsletter. We have partnered with them to help you guys connect to the latest happenings, drama, gossips, and goings-on in the BJJ world. We even have our own little section dedicated to helping you move better for BJJ. So if you're interested to find out more, click the link below and get connected with Tap, Nap, and Snap, the BJJ newsletter. But no, I think when you're thinking about what you do, the worst thing you can do is not warm up. Going out onto the mat
sitting
cold,
on the stands and just
this
rock.
is a problem.
Yep.
And the thing is, often jiu-jitsu tournaments are not set up well to... The bullpen is not actually a very conducive area for warming up.
No.
People have their bags and their drink bottles, and people are occupying real estate. People are pacing up and down, staring you down. Like, I kind of just get into like a solo rave. I'm just like... I'm just like... Big energy, yeah. And then it's only once I go to like, your mat officials like, you're next. I'm like, okay, kill mode, Matrix music.
Yeah.
Like I have to go to a place of intense focus. But that's the thing. If you've never done this before and you're about to go into your first competition, it is worthwhile having 2 or 3 moves up your sleeve that get your body right. And it is a bit different for each person.
Yeah.
So for me, there always has to be a dynamic jump of some sort. That's the thing that really gets the nervous system going.
Yep.
There has to be a jiu-jitsu specific thing, whether it's pummeling or like doing like a leg entanglement or whatever it might be. I have to have that jiu-jitsu specific thing. And then I always do joint articulations.
Yeah, right.
Always. But yeah, once you've done that first match, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but
And then it's just a case of like trying to stay limber.
yeah,
Because once you've limbered up, it's there. If you stop doing anything, you'll cool down. But if you're just moving around lightly, like kind of never stop moving, I find that's super helpful.
actually, one of the wild things I saw actually in Rio many years back when Rodolfo Vieira was a brown belt, he had a huge jumper which had Mary and baby Jesus, sweet baby Jesus, 10-pound baby Jesus. Huge thing. Big white hoodie. I think cut off sleeves so it could go over his. And it's hot. We're in Tijuca Tennis Club, right? It's summer. It's June, July. We're in Rio, right? Oh my God. And he just stayed warm the whole time. Like the guy didn't cool down. He never stopped sweating.
Yeah, right.
Like he just kept his gi on and he would put the jumper over the top. I don't know how efficient that is, but I saw that and I'm like, well, I guess he's not got heaps of matches, right? Like it's black belt, heavyweight or whatever. He's probably got 3 or 4 matches. He just needs to stay in that zone and just get it done.
Yeah, if it works for you, right? Like, and also too, if you're acclimatized to that kind of heat, then maybe it's not so. Whereas for us, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm cooking over here, which is going to keep you warm.
Yeah.
Like if you're in like, Northern Hemisphere, like up in like Northern Europe or some shit.
Or you're in Hong Kong or wherever you might be.
Yeah, like somewhere cold, then keeping warm is paramount.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about hot
scenarios.
Oh, no, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, keeping warm is super important. And so, yeah, like a big hoodie that can go on over your gi. Maybe even there's a beanie there. Shoes and socks, not slides, because slides, your feet are going to get cold. You're walking around on cold floor. Like shoes and socks, like put them on, like thermal stuff, man. Like even maybe something over your gi pants, because those things,
Yeah.
Because physically cooling down in a cold environment will just nullify all of that.
Yeah. And look, I usually try and bring a change of rashi because, when you get the cold sweat on a rashi and it can feel like if your body might be warm.
You wear rashi under the gi?
I do usually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, as a general rule. That's part of the kind of staying warm. Not that you have to, right? Like most competitions, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're going to compete. You need your routine. Obviously, everybody is different. But the 3 components, get the body limber, get the body warm in a specific way. Do not recommend star jumps. And then also get the nervous system excited, whatever that looks like. You got to have that G up element.
Yeah, with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, send us your comp results.
Get out there. Smash, bro.